Need advice and your views on how it looks to someone other than my own. I'm a 23 white female, and well, I've just been feeling this way for about a while now, ever since the situationship I had with this guy. I guess what I want is unbiased opinions and other POVs on this situation so I can try and understand and deal with my feelings better. It all started because this guy, 27 white, saw me once, which I wasn't even aware of, but somehow he found me on Instagram and texted me there, saying he saw me. We're both in a foreign place, and we come from the same place, and I hadn't come across anybody yet from back home, so I was delighted at the thought of meeting someone from kind of the same background, and so he asked to meet and I agreed. We met, and aside from being happy that I had someone I had things in common with from back home, I thought nothing about him. He was not my type at all, and I felt zero attraction towards him. The second time we met, his friends were around, and they referred to me as his girlfriend. And I was so uncomfortable, and he just seemed to be enjoying it, laughing, and I still feel so guilty for not being able to say, that's not it, I'm not his girlfriend. If it was because I was uncomfortable to the environment with his friends around, and me just barely knowing the guy I was with, or what, but I was just quiet, and so I left. Early, I still cringe at the thought of the incident and regret not having stood up for myself. I realize now that I didn't have to continue meeting him, but it had been 2 years since my first ever relationship that I had dated/seen anyone. The trauma was a lot, and so I also thought that maybe I was ready to see someone else, and TBH, I thought maybe being with anybody else would do me good since I had just ever been with that one guy. So we continued meeting, but I was always very honest about my feelings with this new guy, and I mentioned how I wasn't ready for a relationship from the very beginning. He even said my heart must still be hurting when we were having one of these discussions, and I thought that was sweet that he understood how I must be feeling, but he still continued to refer to me as his girlfriend, while he never proposed to me or asked me about it. So to me it was clear that we weren't in any relationship, but it continued, so at one point I even just brought it up, saying it's weird that his friends keep calling me that, and we had a discussion, but then again that really went nowhere. He just seemed to eat it up whenever people would refer to me as his girlfriend. Anyway, me seeing him went on for like 2 months. I tried to give time to see how I feel, but nothing really changed about the way I feel, so I stopped seeing him, and I made it clear to him that I had zero feelings for him. Wrote it down in literal text that I sent to him, which he just seemed to ignore and kept texting. He kept asking to meet up, and I kept avoiding it. And so he always asked if I was seeing someone else, as if only that would explain me not having feelings for him. I used to get so anxious every time he texted because I would feel helpless at the fact that I went out of my way to explain I have zero romantic feelings for him, and he would just continue contacting me while not responding to how I felt about him. In the end, I ended up lying to him that I was seeing someone else just so he would leave me alone and stop texting. And funny, and not only then he did finally stop texting me and asking me to meet him, and that really threw me off too, but I didn't want to have to put up with him anymore, and so I said nothing and took my win in the fact that he stopped texting at least. Anyway, it's been 2 months or so since I cut off all contact with him, and I still get these moments of disgust and guilt at the thought of how I even let him close to me, almost anger at times, and how to direct/channel or process them, so I'm here. Honestly, I did my best from giving a chance to see how things will go through and being clear about my feelings that I wasn't feeling it, but I seem to have come out of it with only more trauma.